Well, hello there, friends. It's a Sunday morning spread from Cards of Light, Bright Blessings of the Tarot for August 7th, 2022. Brian Noe with you once again. Thank you for joining me this week for our 4-card energy reading. Let's go to the table and see what is in the cards this week. Clumsy shuffling this time around. All right. Let's get our minds quiet for just a moment here. We will be looking at the 4 dimensions of life: the physical, social, emotional, mental, and spiritual dimensions. Start here with the spiritual dimension, and we've got the Devil card. Interesting. Social, emotional. The 4 of discs. Mental. 6 of discs. And physical. The Magus. Okay. So 2 majors and 2 disc cards this time around. And wish these all together while we're taking a look at the whole spread and thinking about it here for just a moment. All right, let's start here in the physical dimension. We have the Magus. So this is the card in old decks that would be the Juggler. In the Rider-Waite-Smith deck would be the Magician. And Crowley Styles at the Magus. And this, 2 things about this card. One is that it represents skillful means. It represents the ability to do things after having repeated them enough and to do them, make them look easy. And so think about the skill needed to be a juggler, and that is, it's along those lines, except of course the task is not just to juggle things, but to in some way unite heaven and earth, to bring the two together, to demonstrate as above, so below. And of course the card of Mercury. So in the physical dimension of our lives, this could mean that there'll be some magic coming into them. But it could also mean, and probably is more likely to mean, that practice makes perfect. We need to, day in and day out, do the things that over the long haul help us to look after our material well-being while we are on this planet having our human experience here. And so if we are already doing some sort of daily practice, we need to make sure we attend to that, and that we are faithful to that this week. And if we aren't already doing that, we maybe need to get started to work on the things, whether this is spiritual practices, meditation, and things that help us to calm down and that are good for our physical well-being, or whether it is physical activity, exercise, whether it is eating a healthy diet, whether it is creating a budget. The sorts of little things that we can do day in and day out that help us to have better lives. That's what we need to be doing. So this card also is about messages sometimes. So we may be getting either literally a message from someone on the physical plane this week, a call, a text, email, card, letter, that sort of thing. Or maybe a message, that we see written in the sky or something along those lines. But be attentive to that this week. That will be helpful when it comes. It will be important to our physical material well-being, or maybe. Okay. Over here in the social emotional dimension, we have the Four of Discs, and I think of Crowley styles this one, Power. I think of this card as having the motto, let's hang on to what we've got. It in the writer's deck, it is the one that shows, people always call the character the miser. He's got his pentacles, one on top of his head, one covering his heart, one under each foot, kind of standing atop a building high over the city, kind of hanging on to his wealth. But I think that it's more than just miserliness. It is, and it's more than being frugal. It's a matter of making the most of the resources that we have. Four's the cards of stability, of strong foundation, and discs the suit of the material realm, the material world, the physical dimension of our lives. And so we need to, in the social emotional aspects of our lives in this week to come, we need to make sure that we are making the best use of our resources, that we're taking care of ourselves, that we have some structure and some organization. And indeed, we had, for our 3-card Thursday, we had the Emperor in the first position, which is Trump number 4, kind of, again, calling for that order and, using some propriety. So, I would say, especially coming as this does in the social emotional quarter of the table here, we need to approach things sensibly, but particularly conserving our resources. And this may be about conserving our energy. If we're in situations where we're having to expend a lot of emotional labor, and we're not seeing, the returns on that and the value of that, maybe it's time to kind of take a step back, spend a little quiet time at home, not be rushing around, not getting sucked into other people's agendas and projects and activities for a little bit. Let's conserve our resources. And then we will be able to be truly present with people, when the time comes that is seriously needed. We need to enter into our relationships and the emotional landscape from a position of power and stability this week. And up here in the mental dimension, we have the 6 of Discs, which Crowley styles success. This is a card that is usually about, maybe a windfall of some sort, accomplishing something, finishing a project, getting rewarded for our efforts. It sits, so this 6th position sits right kind of in the middle of the tree of life when you look at the Hermetic Kabbalah. So it's a spot of balance and beauty and a sort of a restorative, moment or spot. And so This also is the card in the Rider deck that shows um, sort of the merchant distributing alms. And so it is a card about generosity as well, and about influence over others, providing for others, sharing with others. So up here in the mental dimension of our lives, this could be providing mentorship to others. It could be sharing the things that we know, the practices that we know, the things that have worked well for us, the things that we are experts with. So maybe we have developed something down here with this Magus card. Maybe we have developed, some special skills, some special wisdom, some special knowledge, and we have an opportunity this week to share that with others. If that opportunity arises, then that's something that we should feel not just free to do, but maybe compelled to do. We really ought to share the success as we can with others this week. And I'm getting a real strong sense here that there will be an opportunity for some of us at least to do that this week. So don't be shy. Don't think, oh, I don't have anything to add. When the time comes, you'll sense it and know that it is time to share what you know. We get over here to the spiritual dimension, and we have the Devil card. And this is, I see this card this week as a warning. Sometimes it's not. But the two things about this card for me are that it represents bondage and deception, in the sense of the things that bind us sometimes the most turn out to be illusions. And so there is something that doesn't feel right, isn't serving us well. It may be time to break those bonds and just say, hey, I don't need this anymore. The other thing about this card is it is the zodiacal trump of Capricorn. And think about a goat that just barges in, smashes things, eats whatever it wants, takes whatever it wants. In this case, with this depiction of the card, screws whatever it wants. I think of this card as sort of like the card that depicts our capitalist political economy as well. Just chews everything up, spits it out. No concern really for legacy or appearances or anything like that. It's just devour based on our most base desires. And in the political economy, the desire for profit is the whole thing. There's really nothing else. Anything else that appears to be there is just for the sake of window dressing. At least that's the way I've got it figured. And so in the spiritual dimension, this card comes as a warning that things may not be what they appear to be. And if we are feeling bound up, if we are feeling like we are chained to something, we might want to take a second look at that and realize that we really are free, even at the moments that we may not have a lot of liberty. We can still have free spirits. We're still deep within ourselves, free spiritual beings, regardless of the physical circumstances and fetters. I'm getting the sense that for somebody, this is about debt, and being hesitant to, being worried about debt, being hesitant to move forward with something that's really important because of concerns about that. So be bold, but also keep in mind legacy and long-term consequences of the things that we do. We're not here just to consume. We're here to help each other, to love each other, and to get us a sense of our place in the dance of the universe. What really is our life about? Those kinds of questions and the answers we get from examining those kinds of questions ought to be what's sort of running the show here, and not just sort of base desire to fill our bellies and our pockets this coming week. And I think that temptation will be there this week for some of us. And so we don't want to do the sort of tempting, take the easier road to get what we want in the short term. We want to be thinking longer term. Because look at all of these resources. We've got the stability here. We've got this beautiful moment here of abundance and the ability to share. And we've got some really high specific skills going on over here. So we don't need to take shortcuts. That is the way that I would read these. I'm just taking one last look at the full table to see if there's anything else that jumps out at me. I love the sort of these two cards. That combination is very cool because we've got stability and then sort of a breakthrough here, where things are just balanced and beautiful and abundant and lush and plenty enough to go around, plenty enough to share. So what do you think? If you're a card reader, I'd like to hear how you would interpret this spread. If something in it is resonating with you, I'd like to hear that as well. If you've got questions either about this spread or about this silly practice of throwing tarot cards, let me know. You can either leave comments here with the video or pop on out to the weblog at brightblessingstarot.com and either contact me by email or leave comments there on the post. Yeah, interesting spread this week. Thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure. I plan to be back on Thursday for our 3-card Thursday as usual. In the meantime, I wish you peace. Take care of yourself.